Principles of investment, very important with investors. Trust, honesty, okay, and professionalism. Let's talk about professionalism. Professionalism means you have a budget, okay? You know about the guilds. Is it going to be a SAG movie? Is it going to be low budget SAG? You know what your costs are, and you know what the labs that you're going to use and the locations you're going to use, and you know what the market is. So if you're out there and you're making a film, a film about Lonnie Ramati eating hot fudge sundae, that's not going to get anybody to buy it except maybe my kids. That's it. So again, you've got to make movies that you can sell to them, a horror film, an action movie, some sort of low-budget, interesting movie like She's Gotta Have It, something with something unusual in it that stands out to people that they think you can sell. And you have to show them that you have some relationships in distribution or that you know about distributors. You have to be selling your professionalism. I know what I need to do for a domestic distribution agreement deal. I know who I'm going to go to for that. I know who the foreign sales agents are because I have been to the American film market, which you should go to in the fall. I have been to other film markets and I've been to film festivals. I've been to the Toronto Film Festival. I've been to Tribeca, and I've networked with people, and I know where I have to go. I can't guarantee a sale, but I can guarantee you I know where to go. That's important for investors. You have to be open with investors, an open book. Do not hide, do not lie to investors. But I promise you this, and I've seen it over and over again. If you just break even or lose a little money and you do those three things, they'll give you money again. I'm telling you now, they will give you money again. Because people that are in this business on a $300,000 movie are not in it for a big return on investment. They're just not. That's not the kind of business this is. They're in it because they love movies, they have a girlfriend, they want to be the star of the movie, usually. So, of course make her the star, but keep the dialogue limited like it was in Rambo. Just keep a lot of action, she's in the jungle, we'll rescue some people. But keep it, And by the way, if you're from a community, because I'm from a tall Jew community, I'm a Jew and I'm ridiculously tall. So my community is Jews, okay? Like you've never heard of us. But my community, I'm going to my community to get money. I'm going to Jews to get money. I'm not going to go to some fucking Catholic to get money. All right? It's not happening. 'Cause that guy ain't going to give me, Jesus, forget it. I know you Jews. I know what you did. Don't Pontius Pilate me. Anyway, so it's like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to Catholics. I'm going to Jews, and I'm begging Jews. And sometimes a begging Jew can be very good in the eyes of other Jews. I'll give him. He's begging. He's a nice Jewish boy. He's tall. I don't believe him a little bit, but I'll give him. That's my people. I can talk to you about my people. But if you're in the black community, Hispanic community, Asian community, every community, you should be looking into that community to help you support your movie because they're going to be loyal to you. They are loyal to community. There's a community loyalty that actually exists that I think is very useful in low-budget films, which is what these are. So go to your community, whatever it is. If you're an accountant, go to other accountants. Go to whoever you are that you have as a community and get money from them. And then, if you get the first set of money, keep it in a segregated production account at all times and have an open door policy for showing people how much money you have in that account, and do not release that money in the account until you have the full funding and you have all of your production budget in place, because your production budget is your Bible for them, and live by that budget. Now, there's a little bit of a problem with low-budget films, a couple of technical problems. One is the guilds. You want to try and avoid, and they're going to shoot me for this, and I don't give a shit. You want to try and avoid IATSE if you can, because it's very expensive to hire IATSE crew on a low-budget film. So you want to have non-IATSE people, you want to have non-DGA people, and SAG people you can do because they have the low-budget SAG agreement, which allows you to negotiate anything. So your job is to try and avoid hiring union crews. It's very tough. But you're going to have to find a way to get people to work for you that are not going to be union people so that you can afford to make your movie, if you're doing it in Los Angeles. Now, if you're doing it outside of Los Angeles in an area that doesn't have any unions, like the desert, you might have a shot. But barring that, you want to avoid the guilds. They'll cost you a lot of money. The other issue that you have is, of course, you know, where are you going to make the movie? Now, how many of you want to make your movies in Los Angeles? Nobody. Okay, so much for Los Angeles. How many of you want to make them in Louisiana? One person, two people. How many of you want to make your movie in Arizona? How many of you want to make your movie at all? Okay. So there's some people that don't want to make their movie. Okay. Well, then you don't have to listen to this if you don't want to make your movie. There is one area right now where you can make a movie and get tax credits, and the best area, which is Louisiana. And so what I suggest all of you do at some point when you can afford to is take a coach round-trip ticket to Louisiana and see if there is and learn about places you can make movies in Louisiana, because there's a 25% tax credit, reducible to about 22% after you get the monies back and everything's deducted. So the point is, that's a lot of your budget you can get back just from a tax credit. There are no minimum. The tax credit has nothing to do with the budget of the movie in terms of minimums. It's a tax credit across the board. So the issue for you is guilds, which are out there in Louisiana now, and you want to avoid the guilds, and that's it. And learning about how to make the tax credit work. If you do your film in Louisiana, you get your tax credit. Simple as that. You know, just don't. But you know, my advice to all of you is, however you're going to do the movie, don't keep travel and costs at a minimum. Don't spend a lot of money on construction, and don't spend a lot of money on airfare travel per diem. You can't afford it with these movies. You're guerrilla filmmakers, and every dollar you have has to be put in that budget for the movie itself. So make sure that you're cutting a deal with your lab and you're reducing your travel. Keep it cheap. Hire local as much as possible. Keep everything local. Try and avoid guilds with your money, and try and have your own camera equipment so you don't have to rent anything, because that costs an arm and a leg. Try to keep everything as cheap as possible when you're making your movies. Now, there are a couple of business things I want to talk about with you that are important for every movie maker, and that is distribution. It is your job. It is your job to go to the American film market and find out who's selling movies in foreign. You should be going to that American film market and going into every single booth you can go into without wanting to commit suicide, because it gets boring. And you should be making a list of people that would want to sell your kind of movie in the foreign markets. You look at the kind of movies they're selling, and you get the information about that sales agent. And when you do the deal with the sales agent, you do a deal that protects your money. You try and negotiate a segregated account for your money so they don't mix the monies with other people's monies. And you try and make sure that they're going to be the right salesperson for your kind of movie. If it's an action movie, it's one kind of sales agent. If it's not an action movie, it's a horror movie, it's another kind. You have to get a salesperson selling your movie. Your investor is going to want to see that you're being professional. Now, you may not have success, but you have to behave professionally. A professional will go and do this research. They won't sit on the internet and be bored, okay? Which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people don't listen and sit on the internet and just read shit. They'll never make a movie. You have to be out there every day at the American film market looking at who could be your potential sales agent, getting their number and following up with them. That's what works. Domestic. You need to make a list of all video and cable TV companies. And you need to see what kind of product those companies are buying or exhibiting in the case of cable television companies. That is a resource for you, for money. You need to be showing your investors that you are pursuing cable companies, you are pursuing video companies. And this list is incredibly easy for you to get on the internet now. Top video sales companies, top cable companies. Again, you can find this information on your own. If you are showing your investor a good faith attempt to get a domestic distribution deal, okay, and a foreign sales agent, they'll come back. They'll see your professionalism. Now, what kind of deals do you want? Every deal that you want, you try and get in advance. An advance is a payment up front. It's money in your pocket they're going to pay you before they release your film. You try and do that. They may not agree to do it, but that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get as much money as soon as possible before they discover your film is a piece of shit. That's your mantra. Just give me my money before they actually see the movie. So in the foreign sales business, the sales agent will be selling to distribution territories throughout the world, and he'll be trying to get advances on the distribution rights from those territories. That's a payment up front of the monies. It's usually 20% on signing and 80% on delivery of the film, okay? That's the usual payment schedule. Those monies that they get are going into their hands. You've got to really fight them to get the money out from them. They take a sales agency commission of anywhere from 10 to 20%, and they cover their expenses. You have to limit the amount of expenses they get to deduct from your movie and go grab your money from them. When it's a domestic distribution agreement with a video distributor or a cable television company, it's all about the fee, the license fee, the advance, all about the money up front. Usually most people will pay you everything on delivery. They must pay you everything on delivery. You don't want people to go out there and release your film and never pay you. And the moment they release it, you're dead. Remember that. You are dead the moment they release it, because you don't have the money and the power to collect. Unless you're rich, in which case you can ignore everything I've said tonight. But you must be able to leverage yourself. Leverage yourself is payment on delivery. Leverage yourself is getting money even before delivery. That means that you've got at least the money you know you're going to get, and you're not going to be totally ripped off. All right? You don't have to worry about participation at this point. Your job is to get enough cash from these distributors to try and get your investor their money back plus return on investment. You don't worry, and you don't blow a deal over the back end, which is a very sophisticated business. You just worry about getting cash. That's your job, okay? And you worry about avoiding guilds, and you worry about not paying residuals because you've avoided guilds because you're sneaky and you're smart. And you're too cheap for them to be able to come after you, because why pick at a $300,000 film? They'd rather pick at a $50 million film. So your job is to save yourself money and collect money. Now, remember this. The moment you've delivered to somebody, they have you. So if they haven't paid you and you're delivering to them, it's like rolling the dice, because you're going to have to sue them, and it's going to take forever, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to be hard to collect your money. Meanwhile, your investors are wondering what happened. Just remember, advance monies, license fee, payment on delivery or before delivery. Your job is to collect. Another thing, when you're negotiating with the people that are in your film, right? At this film level, all right, at this budget level, none of these people deserve anything.